Thank you so much for being here for our Walla webinar series today. I appreciate all of you who took the time to join us live today. I am Laura Munkholm, founder and president here at Walla, and I am so excited to be joined by Zach Mills today, who is the founder of ONBRND. For those of you that are new to our webinar series, we do these usually the last Thursday of every month, and we typically bring on either a guest like Zach, who is a total expert in their field and can really dive in to help you take action in your business today. The goal of all of these webinars is for you to wrap up this hour and be able to do something maybe on the webinar, maybe after the webinar, that moves the needle on your business. That doesn't take 10 hours of your time. We want you to be able to do something today. And part of the reason I wanted to bring Zach on with this timing is, I think a lot of us get into the mode as the fall flies by at like 1,000 miles per hour. And all of a sudden we're at the end of October and we're like, oh my gosh, I need to do something for the holidays, Black Friday, whatever your kind of magic time is before the new year. And I thought it'd be nice to feel a little bit more prepared this year and have an incredible playbook. Just quick housekeeping stuff on our platform here. You guys are all live on our Walla website right now. So this is a little different than Zoom in that you're not kind of bouncing outside of Walla, but it's the same in that we have a chat here on the right side of the screen. You can pop in there if you wouldn't mind. Everybody just say hello, who you are, where you're coming to us from, and your business. And then we do have a Q&A section. So at the end of the webinar today, we'll go through any remaining Q&A, but there's a little Q&A button, and that actually is the best place to ask any targeted questions, because that way I can mark them as answered or keep track of them and they don't get lost in a chat if people are kind of commenting back and forth. Other than that, try to close your other tabs, get really focused. This is a really, really powerful presentation today. And with that, Zach, I will turn it over to you. I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the crowd.
Absolutely. What's going on? Appreciate you guys having me. Obviously, Laura, it's been awesome getting to work very closely alongside you and the entire Walla team over the last 7-8 months or so. But as Laura said, I'm Zach Mills, founder of ONBRND. We are a full digital marketing agency specializing specifically in the boutique niche, right? We don't necessarily do traditional big box or anything like that. Boutique's kind of the name of the game. Quick background on me. Come from the fitness industry for the last 7-8 years, I would say. Was on the vendor side for a little bit, and then got recruited by Exponential Fitness and spent a couple of years there as a marketing director for 2 of their brands, AKT and Y6, right? And then kind of saw the writing on the wall to a degree, saw an industry and an opportunity to really kind of bridge the gap of what Expo was able to accomplish and really where there were kind of holes in the marketplace from a digital marketing perspective. So branched out about 2.5 years ago or so to start ONBRND, and, really with that kind of mission in mind of just helping boutique studio owners really kind of reimagine their digital marketing funnel and implementing kind of full funnel strategies to really move the needle for each of these individual business owners. So stoked to be here, excited to dive in. I know we're a couple months ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but again, it creeps up on us sooner than we all think, right? So seriously appreciate all you guys being here.
Awesome. Well, yeah, guys, we're really picky about the people we bring into this webinar series, and particularly with marketing. We know this is something that you invest in your business. And I think we've had webinars before where we talk about the lens that we see marketing through is not an expense, it's an investment where there should be, it should be a no-brainer. And Zach's one of those people that we absolutely trust because, obviously he knows the digital marketing game, but his background in this industry is so directly relatable. And having a conversation with him is not going to be like, you need a translator in between to explain what boutique fitness is actually about. So with that, I'll let you dive in, pop into the deck.
Killer, appreciate you guys. All right, so everyone's seeing the screen. Yeah, I believe we're good to go. All right, so we will dive on in, guys. So Black Friday for boutique. E-commerce edition, right? So before my stint in the fitness industry, I came from an e-commerce background. So a lot of opportunity to really leverage the online space, particularly during the holiday season. All right. So what to expect from this webinar in particular, right? Really the highest performing brands treat Black Friday and the Cyber Monday timeframe like it's the Super Bowl of sales, because in actuality, it is, right? We all wake up morning after morning, pretty much starting like November 1st. It seems like Black Friday starts earlier and earlier every year, and you just have dozens of emails in your inbox from brands you probably never even heard of, right? So it's just an opportunity to really, kind of leverage the existing contact and database that you guys have built up, right? And really leverage it from a revenue perspective. So objectives for today, learn how the top e-commerce brands structure their holiday campaigns and specifically how to apply that to your studio or studios. Explore proven email and SMS best practices for urgency, copywriting, and design. And then we're actually going to walk through kind of a fully mapped 14-day promotional calendar with subject lines, timing, and even creative angles and recommendations in terms of how to build your actual emails. And then, of course, discover what offers actually convert during this time frame, right? I think that's probably one of the most important factors. Is you could have the most beautifully designed email and SMS, campaign, but if no one likes what it is that you're offering, then obviously you're not going to have much success. So we'll dig into what our experience has taught us over the last 4 or 5 years in the boutique space, what has really moved the needle from a conversion and a revenue standpoint. All right. And then, so quick background on us, guys. We're 360-degree digital marketing for boutique fitness studios, working with 50 plus locations right now. Again, primarily in the Pilates and the yoga space right now. Have a handful of sort of boot camp, full body HIIT type of workout facilities and studios, but really just continuing to dive in and offer those 360 digital marketing platforms, from landing page optimization to paid media lead generation, and then exactly what we're talking about here, email and SMS, right? So digging into those and really leveraging the existing contacts that you guys have. All right. So to kick things off, it's not just going to be me talking at you for the next 30 minutes. I promise there's going to be a lot of back and forth here. So quick question for you guys. If you want to just use the poll directly in the webinar series on SQL, who already has plans for Black Friday or Cyber Monday? Yes or no?
Yeah, you can just click on the little poll on the right side. There you go. You're seeing it now. Okay, some no's, some yeses. Let's see. Yeah, most people are in the no category. So we're definitely leaning towards need some guidance here.
Well, hey, it's perfect timing, right? You guys will have some tidbits to take away from here. And ideally, really kind of some applicable strategies that you guys can just go and implement, right? And get ahead of the game. All right. So I would imagine for the majority of folks who said no, probably don't have the answer to this question, but how many emails or SMS messages are you guys planning on sending during a Black Friday, or what have you guys done in the past? Is it usually A, 1 to 2, B, 3 to 4, or C, 5+?
Yeah, looks like we're getting 3 to 4 seems like the highest. Ooh, we've got 5+ taking over. It's jumping up and down, but the good news is, guys, most of you are doing somewhere more than 3. So that's what we want to see.
For sure. 1 and done from Ashley. Okay, that's good. All right. We're going to try and convince you otherwise of that, right? We understand the whole spamming your contact list, etc., right? We want to keep it horrible. Too funny. All right, cool. We'll have some real world applications for you guys, and definitely going to convince you guys otherwise of frequency is definitely the name of the game during this crazy time of season. All right. So with that being said, guys, just to kind of set the stage, right? Ecom or an ecom mindset really wins the weekend, or rather, let's just call it the 2 to 4 weeks or so that is now what has evolved into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, right? So email and SMS always going to be your highest return on investment channels this holiday season. So be sure not to sleep on them, right? Every email and phone number is essentially monetizable, right? And that is revenue just kind of sitting in your existing database, just waiting to be deployed. Build holiday campaigns that convert like an online store. Okay, so you want to think urgency, scarcity, and then even repeat purchases, right? Depending on what it is that you're actually offering and the actual sample size of it. And then, of course, set the stage for high converting, quick hitting promotional offers, right? Streamline the overall experience from the second they open your email or your text message to the second they can give you their credit card information and put money in your back pocket. All right, we want to make that as frictionless as possible. So just a quick look at the numbers, right? If you guys don't believe me, this is data pulled directly from Attentive Mobile and Klaviyo, right? So Attentive Mobile is one of the biggest SMS provider, or SMS marketing platforms. Essentially, that's being used currently today. And then the email side is coming from Klaviyo. Again, one of the bigger email marketing platforms. So email average ROI is a 42 times return on your investment. Okay. So for those of you that are typically obviously on Walla right now, maybe there's a handful of you that aren't necessarily on Walla, but obviously just tuning into the webinar series. If you are not leveraging email, it's essentially free at this point, or it's included in your subscription with your Walla platform, right? So think about that, right? If you have, you're spending $300-$400 or so, a month on your email platform or whatever it may be, whether you guys use Walla or something else, you're typically bringing in 42 times beyond that, right? If you're leveraging it properly, okay? SMS, 98% open rate, right? So if you send a text message, odds are everyone's going to pretty much see it at that point, all right? So what you do with that open rate is obviously what is the most important thing, getting them to take that next step, land on your landing page. Owned audience equals sustainable growth, right? You guys have fought tooth and nail to get these people into your system, right? You've spent money on Meta ads, I'm sure, Google ads, you've attended pop-up events, you've had partnership deals, right? You guys kind of name it, right? These folks are in your system for a reason. They're engaged with your brand, at least at an elementary level. They want to be communicated with, they need to be communicated with on a consistent basis, right? And then, of course, if we want to dive into the automation side of things and the incredible capabilities of Walla's journeys, the automation is minimal effort and honestly maximize revenue, right? So that's something that we can talk about at a separate time, Laura. Maybe we can jump on another webinar in the next few months and talk through, kind of our standard journeys and automation flows just to nurture leads and maximize that revenue piece, right? But again, just a quick look at the numbers and really the overall impact that email SMS has on your business. All right. So as we dive into the actual strategy, like I talked about a little bit earlier at the top of the presentation, it all starts with the offer, right? If people don't like what you're putting out there, you're not really going to get a solid return on your investment. So at this point, what we have found over running countless Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns for not only e-commerce companies, but specific to the boutique world of the last 3 years, is that it really kind of comes down to these 4 different pillars, right? A standard blanket percentage off of a package or an individual pricing option is 100% the best way to go, right? From a conversion standpoint. I know we've all kind of been privy to, we see offers of, hey, buy an 8-pack, get 2 free, buy 5, get 1 free, right? Buy a 5-pack, bring a guest pass, things like that. The problem with that is that consumers can't necessarily identify what the savings are, or how much it is that they're saving, right? With a blanket 10, 15, 20, 25% off, it's really quick back of the napkin type of math that people can calculate and they understand, oh, damn, I'm getting a good deal, right? So something like that, less is oftentimes more when it comes to the offer itself. Shifting gears, number 2, credit pack focused. It really, really, really reigns supreme during this time. Again, we want to make this process from engagement to checkout as seamless as possible. I know that we all, strive to push recurring revenue and get new memberships on a monthly basis, 100% the right play and what you should be running on a daily basis. But when it comes to these strategic promotional campaigns, we want to remove as much friction as possible. Okay, so that includes contracts, agreements, terms and conditions, etc. Right? Any type of greater commitment that people will necessarily have to stop and think about means you're likely going to lose them as a potential candidate for this conversion. Okay. So those simple credit packs, 5 packs, 10 packs, 20 packs, whether it's group, private, semi-private, whatever it is that you guys offer at your existing studios, again, we have found convert 10 times better than pretty much any other recurring revenue based package that we typically run. On that side of things, if you are 100% focused on the recurring revenue, doing a quick 1 month unlimited membership that is very hyper focused to sort of your top engagers or your top visitors. This is something that you can certainly segment within Walla's audience capabilities, right? It's just targeting folks who have been in 8+ times over the last 30 days or even 45 days, right? Just seeing people who are really engaging with your brand, really engaging with your studio, but haven't necessarily committed to a membership. Now's a great time to get them on one, right? A 1 month unlimited membership, no contracts, no guarantees, anything like that. Cool. You discount it anywhere that you guys are comfortable with, 15, 20% or so, right? And that's a good opportunity to just capture those, let's call it 15 to 20 people or so played around with the idea of a membership. They come frequently enough, but just an opportunity to potentially convert them, no strings attached, quote unquote, right? And then last but not least, we've all likely done this at some point in our lives, right? You either hate them or you love them, right? You love it when you see an annual unlimited hit your bottom line right then and there. It's a $2,000 checkout. Great, awesome, right? I think now is probably the only time that you really want to push this, right? And again, very, very hyper segmented or hyper targeted to some existing folks who are actively engaging with your studio on a consistent basis. All right. So for this, we typically want to include a sense of scarcity as well. So limiting them to 2, 3, 4, or 5, right? Max for people to sign up just to gauge some urgency and to get people to really kind of think like, okay, hey, this is a pretty banging deal. I've been here. I'm not going anywhere for the next 12 months, right? And it's just an opportunity for you guys to take advantage of some revenue as we go into December, which, as we all know, a little bit of a lull for our season, right? So it kind of helps bridge the gap from end of November through, the craze of January. So those are really kind of the 4 hitters that we look to stick to.
Zach, I imagined we were going to get this question right away, and we did. So businesses like Boyd is mentioning here, we really try to focus on recurring memberships. How about a month that is like a discounted first month that rolls into an auto pay? Do you say stay away from recurring at this point just to get the ease of purchase, or what do you suggest?
I would say, depending on the target or the audience that you're offering that to, I definitely wouldn't hit it to the masses because it wouldn't hit as much. But if you have a little bit more of a segmented approach with those folks, like I talked about, who have visited 4, 5, 6, 7 times over the last 30 to 45 days, then I think that's a pretty good offer to throw to them. And you can include that verbiage in there around it for sure. But I think, again, if you're looking more broad at a larger revenue play, which Black Friday, Cyber Monday tends to be, the credit pack is probably the safer bet to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, don't forget, this is not like you have to send a blanket email to everybody on your email list. One of the super powerful things about Walla is that you can get really narrow on who you're sending these to. And maybe it is very different offers depending on the segment. And I think the goal here with what Zach's saying is like, when you're hitting the maybe 10,000 names in your email list or 20,000 names in your email list that maybe aren't active members, getting as many people to bite as possible is going to be low commitment.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. Okay. So now that we've got the offer, essentially strategized at this point, we have a few maybe that we're going to potentially run with to certain audiences. Now we got to go to the next step, right? How do we get people to actually engage with this? All right. So that typically starts with the subject line. All right. So as you're scrolling your inbox on mobile, I don't have my phone near me, but 80% of folks usually open their email on their mobile device, right? So as a result of that, there's just a few quick tips that you want to keep in mind as you're drafting these subject lines. And typically you want to keep it under 45 characters. Okay. So usually 45 to, depending on the size of your device, 45 to 50 characters or so is kind of that cutoff point to where you start to see the ... and you can't complete the actual subject line as you're reading on your mobile device. All right. So keep that under 45. That includes emojis, that includes punctuation, that includes spacing as well. So keep that in mind. Use urgency, curiosity, or even benefit, right? So, hey, only 24 hours left. There's, hey, your last chance, don't forget, or have you heard about, right? Some types of question-based subject lines can be engaging, especially if you're constantly engaging with your audience and messaging with them and you have a strong interaction with your community. All right. Emojis can help from time to time, right? But don't overdo it, right? 1 to 2 kind of max, depending on what it is that you're pushing there, right? So don't necessarily, just throw the entire keyboard at them, right? In the expectation to stand out in your inbox, you will, but it's likely going to be flagged as spam if you overdo it. All right. And then something that we do with pretty much every one of our studio clients is we split test these subject lines typically on a once a month basis, right? So if we're sending out an offer to the same people over the course of, let's call it over the course of 2 weeks, we'll do the same exact audience, same exact message one time, and then we'll just slightly shift the subject line the second time to see where it is that we're kind of constantly converting, and we're just consistently updating based on what it is that we find there.
And don't forget, in Walla, you can create an audience that is, people who didn't open or people who, right? So you can always, test back to that same group if they didn't open or, I just want to call that.
All right. So now that we've talked about the subject line, okay, we've got people interested. They're obviously open to email. All right. Now what's next? We don't want them to just open it, say, oh, okay, I'm out of here. Oh, there's too much text, or I don't really understand what this is about, etc. We want folks to obviously read and engage with what it is that we have to offer. And you have about 2.5 to 3 seconds in order to do so, right? So the way that the actual email template should be designed is very specific to what it is that you're offering, okay? So we always lead with an engaging hero graphic, right? What you guys see on the right here of the screen is just a handful of different designs that we look to implement depending on obviously who it is that the studio is, what it is that we're offering, etc. Right? We always want to lead with the offer or just the overall point of the email. Okay. So for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if it's 20% off credit packs, you want to include that first and foremost. That should be the primary headline. People open it up. They know exactly what it is that the email is about. All right. Also on that hero graphic, and I see this a ton as we bring on new studios and we just continuously audit, what it is that they're doing on the email and the SMS side, is they don't include call to action buttons on that first graphic, right? They could have a great image, a great photo, very, very engaging, awesome hero shot, but it doesn't say anything and it doesn't prompt people to take action. Okay. So the first foremost thing that we want them to do is, okay, we got them to open. Now we want them to get to where it is that we're leading them to, right? Ideally a buy page of some sort. So be sure to include that book now or grab your pack or shop now, base CTA buttons where people are, a little bit more incentivized or a little bit more encouraged to click that button. Okay. When it comes to the actual copy of your email, short paragraphs, punchy tones, right? You want anything between 1 to 2 sentences per paragraph, 2 to 3 paragraphs max, right? So again, you have to think majority of people are going to be opening this email on their mobile device. And the last thing you want to do is open your phone and just see text, right? It's a little overwhelming. People are like, it's not that important, right? And kind of scroll to the next. So if you have that hero graphic, a little bit of text spaced out evenly so it's much more legible. And then the next thing is you always want to end with another CTA button. So you lead with it up front, you get them to engage in your content, you share a little bit more information about it. And then after that, again, another call to action button just to kind of close it is what it is that you're offering to get them to go to where it is that you're leading them. Ideally a landing page or a buy page, right? Directly within Walla. Link straight to the buy page. Exactly to my point. Not just on those call to action buttons. I would say the majority of the studios that we work with, they typically do include the buttons or a link, but they're linking to the homepage, they're linking to a random page on the website, etc. Walla is absolutely second to none in terms of that post-click experience and just the overall checkout process. So whether you're a single studio or a multi-studio location, the ability to pull that link directly in there where they just click it, they land, they can select their location, they select their specific package. It's really second to none in terms of, being able to just shorten that experience and make it as frictionless as possible. All right. And then last but not least, always, always, always think mobile first layout. Again, 80% of the folks who open your emails going to be doing it on their phone. So we want to make sure that it looks very attractive on mobile. And again, cool thing as you're building out the emails, which we'll obviously go through here in a bit, you can preview what it looks like on desktop, on tablet, and on mobile as well, directly within the Walla platform.
All right. Hey, just quickly, Zach, we've got a couple questions around when you're doing these emails. Do you suggest only having one offer in these emails, or do you suggest putting multiple in?
Good question. So depending on the audience, again, it comes down to the audience that you're targeting, right? One is ideally best, but if you guys are running with a couple different ones, we've run campaigns where it's 2 different offers as well. All right, but typically they're kind of along the same lines. In terms of what it is that you're offering, or at least the same group of people would be able to benefit from those offers, right? And so 1 is ideal, 2 you can get away with for sure, just depending on the segmentation, but I wouldn't recommend anything more than that. Just a little bit of information overload for the client.
Yeah.
Good question though.
Yeah. And Nicole, just so you know, you're asking about, do you click to link to a specific website? You don't even have to worry about that. The direct links for the plan in Walla take you right to a checkout page, like the widget checkout page. That's literally like autofills on their phone, Apple Pay, double click on the side. It is so fast. If they're brand new, like actually they won't be because they won't be logged in. But anyway, there'll be a password option if they're brand new. If they haven't ever bought anything from you, it'll ask them to create a password. But other than that, it's literally like buying something on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah. And same question. We'll get into this in a little bit, Nicole, but you're really trying to drive them to one offer. So it's really like, to get the highest conversion here, we're not sending them to a page of a million different like options. The goal is, here's a great way to get into the studio. Like you can see here, like ready to lead, 30% off founding membership, last chance, whatever it is. You're not like, hey, check out all of our pricing options and sending them to a web page.
100%. All right, good questions, guys. Let's go. We're engaged. I love it. All right, there's a lot of back and forth here. All right, so that's essentially just a quick little synopsis on the overall email side of things. Again, we're going to dive into the wallet platform here in about 5 minutes and kind of just build a sample campaign for you guys, so you can kind of see it all come to light. But the next piece of the puzzle is definitely SMS. All right. So granted, it's a much higher engagement rate, but typically your opt-in rates and your overall SMS marketable list is typically a bit smaller than what we have on the email side. All right. So we just got to be a little bit more strategic here. All right. So again, just some quick best practices when it comes to, the actual SMS side of things. First up is always include your studio name. All right. Believe it or not everybody saves your phone number or your contact as often as you would like them to, as often as you market to them. It's always a great best practice to just start with whom it is that you guys are, right? We're Revival Pilates, we're Natural Pilates, we're Black Swan Yoga, etc. Right? Included at some point in the first one to two sentences as you guys are reaching out. Personalization is, again, critical, right? So use the name tags and the overall merge tags that the Walla system has to offer to pull in first names, to pull in certain client data, and then obviously to identify who it is that's actually marketing to them. Obviously, this is an automated message to a degree, but you can still include personalization, whether it's your general manager, your front desk rep, whether it's yourself, whomever it may be, right? It just helps humanize the overall process. Be sure to, again, it's not necessarily a one and done. We want to send reminders and really nudges as it relates to the overall process. Always include a direct booking link. Again, very similar to what we're doing on email. If we're prompting them to take action, don't expect them to know how to get to what it is that we're offering. Always include that direct package link in the body of the text message, typically ending with it. And then Laura, correct me if I'm wrong here. So the actual widget links and package links are fairly long, right, in terms of the URL. Yeah. When you paste them in the actual SMS message, it will be auto shortened by the platform itself, correct?
Yeah, it'll like pop up on their phone as a, like a link with an image to whatever is there. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. All right. So again, stay conversational and concise. You don't need 4, 5, 6 sentences or so, right? As much as we all have a lot to say, keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple, right? And keep it personal. All right. And then again, this is, I legally have to say this as a marketing agency, include the stop to opt out for compliance, right? That is up to you guys 100%. I didn't say that out loud, but we do include it in the actual writing. We try to. We have clients who kind of differ on both sides, right? Some that are a little bit more risk adverse, but we don't necessarily include it. We have others that are like absolutely included pretty much in everything that we send out. But again, Laura, correct me if I'm wrong. The wallet platform itself, if they do say stop or unsubscribe or anything like that, they are automatically removed from that list.
Yeah, exactly. And in the first marketing text, we are required to include that in first communication to anybody who opts in. So they know that that is an option.
Yep. All right. So that's what we're looking at on the SMS side. And moving on. Okay. So now that we've got what we're doing on email, what we're doing on SMS, how to actually build these campaigns, right? What are we looking at from a cadence perspective, our frequency, right? So again, this comes into, we don't want to spam our clients whatsoever, but trust me, during this time of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they will see probably every other, if not every third message that you actually send to them. Okay. Again, just because of all the noise that is around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and everything that we engage with, right? So as a result of this, we typically don't do typically when we run campaigns, it's usually between 3 to 7 days or so, right? Just to kind of get the most bang for our buck. However, when it comes to Black Friday, we double that, right? It's a 2-week promo window that we usually start the Wednesday before Thanksgiving as kind of like our pre or early Black Friday kind of access. We do Black Friday and then we do Cyber Monday, right? And it typically ends the Wednesday after Cyber Monday. Because if you just end on that Monday, you're fighting with everybody else that's on that Monday. So you want to be a little bit more strategic in terms of your actual cadence and when you're actually messaging with them. Okay. So 2-week promo window, again, 3 parts. Early Black Friday that you position a little bit as kind of like, hey, VIP, early access to our Black Friday sale, get ahead of the game, etc. Black Friday itself, and then Cyber Monday, right? So 3 essential sprints over the course of a 14-day time frame. And usually within each of those sprints, we will send between 2 to 3 emails, depending on engagement and overall size list or contact list size, and then 1 to 2 text messages again. So that'll lead us to anywhere between 6 to 9 emails and 3 to 6 text messages over the course of a 2-week time span. Sounds like a lot. I promise you, it is not. Right. So as long as you're actively engaging and you're looking at your open rates and engagement rates, and more importantly, your unsubscribe rates as well, I promise you'll be surprised at the efficacy and how many people will still come to you saying, I didn't even know you guys were running a sale. I didn't see anything, right? Because of all the noise that are in there. So we like to err on the side of caution, right? And make sure that our message is seen.
Hey, Erica's wondering, she said, I feel like people start Black Friday now extremely early, like end of October. Thoughts on that?
That's entirely up to you, right? I don't like to open the can of worms too early. Again, you want to include some sense of scarcity within it, right? The e-com brands, they're again, because there's so much noise in that space in particular. We still like the 2-week promo window, right? And that's kind of our go-to strategy. But if you feel the need to crank things on a little earlier, then it's entirely up to you. But again, we like sticking that Wednesday before, just again to include a little bit of scarcity and keep that holiday season type of alive. I think at least the boutique customers who are a little bit more community oriented really appreciate that.
Okay, awesome. Cool. A couple more questions. Do you recommend promoting the sale in studio as well via like flyers and announcements?
100%. Not only email and SMS, but make sure what you're pushing on email is being displayed across social media as well, right? Instagram stories is a fantastic way to do this. They're up 24 hours. You're not necessarily spamming your audience. You can create a direct link, put the link in bio on your Instagram, right, in particular. So definitely on the social side. And then, a quick flyer with the QR code, depending on what it is that you're offering is a major piece as well. Good question.
Yeah, really good question. Becca, something I've seen studios do that are doing a lot of offers like this during the holidays or Black Friday is they pair it with some sort of like member engagement month or something like that so that their members feel special too, because it can, especially if you're putting things in the studio all over the place about deals, sometimes members can feel like, hey, wait a second, should I like go buy that 10-pack instead of what I'm doing right now? So it's a really great time to just double down on all of the love for your members, whether it's like a members only holiday party or, something where you can make them feel like, hey, you matter to us a lot.
Great call out. Yeah. So like obviously when you're promoting in studio, you're promoting on social, you can't necessarily segment who sees that, right? On the email and the SMS side, we typically tend to exclude active members, right, from the specific offers that we're running if it's a credit pack focus, because again, we don't want people pausing, taking advantage of that, and then going back on. But yeah, I think to Laura's point, right, having some type of incentive for your members in particular is definitely a big time driver as well. Yeah. Good call out.
Holly, I'm not quite sure what your question means here, so maybe could you explain a little more? It says, how would you say these same tips for email, SMS with how they are formatted and best times to send? Do you mean are the best times both SMS and email? Like, are you saying, Zach, all of these tips are for SMS and email? Or is this like the best time to send, or is that really just email?
Yes, in terms of the cadence, these are typically the best times to send, both email and SMS, right? SMS tends to gear a little bit more towards the afternoon. However, when it comes to, so again, Monday to Thursday, either before 9 a.m. or between the hours of 4 to 6, again, this is what we typically, this is kind of generic data, right? Again, from Attentive and from Klaviyo, and usually falls in line with what we see at our clients. But again, before you send anything out, you should be able to take just a quick look at your stats within the Walla Marketing Center to see, hey, when was the last few emails you sent out over the last 30 to 60 days? Is it afternoon? Is it morning? Is it Friday? Is it Monday? Is it Wednesday? Just get a quick pulse on what it is that has worked for you the best. But this is kind of just a generic, hey, cool. FYI, this is usually how it works.
Yeah. All right, let's move. I know we've got some more questions. I'll get to them at the end because I want to make sure we have time to wrap up the
Perfect. All right, we'll dig in. All right, so just a quick look at what the overall campaign structure could potentially look like. Again, kind of for that first sprint, right? So day one, you have your Black Friday early access. You get the email out there, whether it's in the morning. So we typically tend to send the emails in the morning, SMS in the afternoon. That's usually when people are kind of most engaged for us. So email in the morning on day one, and then an SMS later in that afternoon. Again, typically to the same audience, kind of pushing the same offer, but hitting them from two different mediums, right? And kind of doubling down, announcing the launch of your actual promotion. Usually a day or two later, so day three, we will send another follow-up email to a little bit more of a segmented list, either to previous visitors over the last 90 days or to folks who have opened or engaged with that email but haven't necessarily purchased, right? And so there's ways within Walla that we can get pretty segmented on that side as well. So again, we're not just spamming the entire list the entire time. All right. And then lastly, again, as kind of part of the first sprint of early Black Friday, let's call it that 4 or 5 day time span, we'll say, hey, last chance, don't forget about our early Black Friday special. Click the link below, offer ends tonight, right? That email will again go out in the morning, and then the SMS will go out that afternoon saying, hey, final hours, you've got 3 hours left, right? Again, including a sense of urgency to get people to take advantage, right? But again, over the course of 5 days, we're sending 3 emails and 2 text messages. Okay, so quite a bit, right? But again, very segmented, very strategic, and you just need to make your way through the inbox of everybody else. I promise you, your open rates and your engagement rates will not falter, as a result during this time specifically. All right. And then last but not least, guys, before we dive into actually building the quick campaign, who is it that you're talking to? All right. So the right message, right audience at the right time. Okay. Again, Walla is really kind of second to none when it comes to being able to segment specific audiences and who it is that you're engaging with. Okay. So depending on the available list size, right, and what you run in your contacts, this could potentially alter and be tailored accordingly. But typically for us, for email cadence, email one, we really want to kind of blast it out to the masses. Okay. So anybody who's potentially taking advantage of this, say it's a credit pack offer, we want to send it to really all contacts that have potentially engaged to make sure that, hey, we cast a pretty wide net at this point. All right. Again, usually we'll exclude active members from this so they don't necessarily see it. And that's something that we can walk through in terms of how to do that as we dig into the Walla platform. Email two, we get a little bit more granular, right? Again, depending on the overall cadence. But again, because this is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we're not going to get as segmented as we usually would. We'll just target the folks who have visited over the last 180 days, okay? But we'll exclude potential purchasers that have purchased essentially in the last, let's call it 3 days since sending the first email, okay? Email three, again, even a little bit more hyper-targeted visitors over the last over the last 90 days, excluding folks who have purchased over the last 7 days. Okay, so again, folks who have seen emails 1 and 2 and the active members would be removed from the last email because we don't want to spam people who we've already helped convert, right? That's when you start to piss people off for sure. All right, and then same thing on the SMS side. Again, cast a little bit of a wide net to begin with. SMS 2, visits in the last 180 days, excluding any purchases over the last 5 days, okay, specific to the packages or the offer it is that you're running. All right. So quick segment, quick sample in terms of what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
All right. So now we can build a quick campaign together. Do we have, we've got time, right, Laura? Yeah, cool.
We've got some time.
All right, perfect.
I think this will be super valuable for everyone. So
sure. All right, where are we at? Flyer.
There you go.
I see it defaults to the natural Pilates one. All right, guys. So we're on a quick demo site right here. So everyone's seeing? Okay, cool. Dashboard's fun. All right. So we land here. Everybody's familiar, hopefully. Go to the Sales and Marketing Center. All right. If you guys haven't created a template, before you dive into a specific newsletter or a specific campaign, we always like to create a template to begin with. So that way you can kind of just copy and paste and you don't have to recreate everything from scratch. So just a little bit easier. So you go in here. This is kind of our standard template. You get in, you create it. If you want to duplicate it multiple times, you just click the 3 buttons and click duplicate, and you can apply it pretty much throughout the process. All right. So for us, we're going to go into newsletters, create an email. We'll just go early Black Friday 1, target location. So again, depending if you're multiple locations, individual locations, right, this really kind of comes up to you. So for sake of argument, we're just going to go all locations here. Early Black Friday, 20% off credit back special. Email 1. Click Save Newsletter. we're going to configure the audience right here. All right. So again, this is the first email that we're sending out. So like we talked about, we usually like to set it to all contacts, again, excluding members. Right. Sometimes you can have or I would say the vast majority of Walla Studios have like a blanket all contacts list. But because this is a demo site, we'll just create a quick custom one. And usually what we look to do and how we create this, Laura, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I usually just go record creation date.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Within the last, let's call it 1,000 days, right? And that'll pull in damn near everybody, right? Okay, so you got that. And then again, we want to exclude members because this is a package specific offer. So we're going to go down to has member status, contacts who do not have member status, right? So these folks will essentially be excluded as a result. We will click save. And that is our audience. Something we always like to double check, right, is just to click this view contacts button, just to make sure that your audience has actually ran at that point. Obviously, this is a demo site, so there's not obviously a ton of data in here, but just make sure that it kind of hits the parameters that you're looking to look at. Just a quick kind of QA to make sure that you're targeting the right people after all. All right, go down to email content, configure this action. All right, subject is Early Black Friday for our VIPs. All right. Cool. So this should be right under 45 characters. Just a quick count. 5, 10, plus 6, 16, 19, 22, plus 4, 25, plus a few spaces. Cool. Right around that 30, 31 or so. I just had to do math in front of a bunch of people. That actually kind of scared me, but we're good now. We crushed it. All right, sweet. So typically for us guys, we scroll down. We like to use the branded templates like we talked about. Again, just really kind of summarize what it is that we're offering and then what we're pushing. So typically when it comes down to layout style, we will use advanced, and then we're going to go start building. So we use this pre-created template that we've already built, makes it super simple. Click select. And this is usually our standard right here. Okay, so we lead with that hero graphic. We're going to click upload image. I believe this is the one that we wanted to use. Cool. All right. So it has pretty much everything that we're looking at, right? Branded template. You got your logo up front so everybody knows who you are. Black Friday savings really kind of calls out specifically what the offer is all about, includes the actual promo code, and then, a quick disclaimer or a sense of urgency. Hey, this offer is ending on Friday. So, urges people to take a little bit of action. All right. As for the heading, we'll just say sweat, save, repeat, right? Something like that. I promise you, we have much better copywriters at ONBRND than what we have going on here. All right, but something catchy and something punchy like that. Heads up. Again, we want to personalize this, so we'll use the merge tag right here. Client first name. We have kicked off our exclusive.
Public typing is scary. I get it. I hate public typing.
Fully panicking. Early
like having to do public math.
Oh yeah, 100%, right? For a limited time, save 20% on all credit packs with code. What we got? BFCM20. Click the link below, and we'll see you on the reformers. And then end with a quick emoji. I'm a big proponent of the flex arm, as I would imagine most of us are in our beautiful industry, right? And with the button text, we'll go shop now. I want to bold that for consistency. And again, the big thing is we want to pull the adequate link directly from right, what it is that we're offering. Okay, so this is a little bit more of a generic package. Okay, typically for us, when we're doing something like this, we'll lead them to our highest converting one, whether that's the 10 or the 20 pack, again, depending on the brand itself. And then people can essentially navigate to if they want something different from there. All right, so just to show you guys real quick how to pull that. I actually don't know if we have any pricing options in the demo site.
In the demo site, I can't remember. Yeah, but you would go to direct. Well, click on plans. Are there any? Yeah, there's one in there.
Okay, cool. So again, from here, guys, you just want to go directly to whatever the plan is that you're offering here. So let's just say, for sake of argument, this is the 10 pack, right? The 10 class pack. we'll click here, we'll click get direct link. Because this again is going to all locations, right? We can allow users to essentially select whatever location it is that they're coming to, all right, or what they prefer in their home location is. So we just copy this link directly. We'll go back to Sales and Marketing Center, schedule email letters. I think this is the one we were doing. Sweet. Yep. Member status. Go back into edit, and then we are just going to paste that link directly in to this image link. So that way, anybody who taps on this, once they actually get the email itself, they will be sent directly to the buy page link, which looks like this. All right. So again, let's just imagine that's the 10 pack because again, this is the demo site, but again, you can see how quickly it is, whether they create their account or they want to log in real quick as they're an existing customer, just the ability to do so right then and there. All right. And then what I was telling you guys about earlier. Okay. So again, we kept the copy short and punchy. You guys can see what this looks like on desktop, but more importantly, looking at what it looks like on mobile. Okay. So again, you don't see a ton of text as you're on there. You see the graphic, you end with the call to action button. A couple of quick testimonials that we like to include in most of our templates. Again, just kind of just reassurance if you're targeting more people or new people. From there, you're pretty much good to go. Always click save and continue. The first few times we started using WAL, we did not click the save and continue button, and it was it kicked our ass for sure. So just I'm gonna throw that out for everybody. Save yourself a little bit of time. We'll click save and exit once more. Go down here, and then you schedule it, right? Depending on when it is that you're kind of kicking things out. All right. So for us, we'll go the 26th. We usually want to go before 9 a.m. So we'll call it 8:45 a.m. Select schedule. And we are good to go. Simple as that, guys. All right. But again, it really comes down to the audience segmentation. You can get so granular with these pieces we continue to build. For the sake of time, we will go back to the presentation.
Well, let me actually just really quickly, if you go back in there, because somebody had asked about where the condition is for if people haven't opened an email. So can you just go back and add a condition? And if you scroll down, resend email, see there's the resend email one. So that's where you can say from newsletters. Because this is a demo site, you don't have anything in here, but this basically says send this email exactly X days or whatever after if they have not opened, if they have not clicked, however you want it, open, not clicked. Yeah. But it'll give you a list of all of the options that you've sent before if you've got them made already.
Yep, exactly. Good call out.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, let's pop back in. I know we're just sitting time here in a moment, so I want to make sure everybody knows how to touch base with you on this.
Perfect. All right, guys. So we got that. Again, just captive audience, consistent messaging equals maximum revenue. All right. The timing, the offer, multi-channel, so including email and SMS, really just kind of increases visibility. Include those branded templates, keep that going, and then obviously just simplify the lead journey with that specific direct link, right? Whatever it is that you're offering. All right. Quick case study for us, guys. We can kind of just blow through this real quick. Natural Pilates is a client of ours on Walla. One of our first ones, actually, that we started working with and got over to the platform. As a result, again, just leveraging the marketing suite, we've been able to do some awesome freaking things with them. They had a 20-year anniversary promotion last month, 20% off group packs, private and semi-private packs. We ran it for 7 days, 3 emails, 3 SMS. And we had 586 total redemptions as a result of that, with close to 300K in revenue. Now, keep this in mind. This is certainly the North Star. They've been around for 20 years. So their marketing list is close to 45, 50,000 people, which is substantially larger than most studios, right? But again, just being able to leverage the platform, hyper-segmented, hyper-targeted, 586 redemptions in 7 days is pretty incredible, right? So Walla gives you all the tools to make this possible, all right? And so as we wrap up here, guys, again, want to say thank you again for just listening to me talk at you guys for the last 45 minutes or so. If you guys are looking for any type of help on the Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff, we geek out over this stuff. We absolutely smash it. So I want to offer just a free Black Friday and Cyber Monday strategy for you guys, inclusive of high converting offer strategy. We'll dig into what you guys have done in the past and make our recommendations as a result. We'll help you craft the actual subject lines themselves. We'll create conversion focused email and SMS copy, again, for the entire 2-week promo period. And then obviously give you guys the recommendation for the actual sending cadence and audience segmentation specific to wallet at that point. All right. So go ahead and just scan the QR code right there. It'll lead you straight to just a quick form fill that'll just notify myself and my team. And then we'll find some time to connect here over the next couple of weeks to really kind of dig in and get some things planned for you guys. So that way, once Black Friday comes around or November comes around, you guys can focus on the holiday season as opposed to, kind of running promos throughout the course of the season.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
guys, I know some of you had more questions. We're at time, so I want to be respectful of your time, Zach's time. And obviously you can just pop in and click that link with him, or I'm sorry, scan that QR code with him, and you guys can schedule some time to chat specifically about your businesses. But I hope this was tremendously helpful as you're thinking about the end of the year. And yeah, if this is overwhelming for you, which it is for me, it is really nice to have people like Zach in the world who live and breathe this. And, it's kind of their superpower. So please take advantage. And if anybody has questions, like technical questions about how to do some of this in Wallet 2, please pop into the support chat, and our team is ready and knew we were doing this today, so I'm sure they're going to be all prepped with the details. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate your time. It was so great to have you.
Thanks so much for the time, Laura. Looking forward to kind of follow up, guys. Again, contact us anytime. Would love to dig in and drive some serious revenue for you guys during Black Friday, Cyber Monday this year. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right. See you guys next month.
Thanks. Cheers.
Bye.